Hello guys, this is BenImparts here, back at you with episode 28 of this Cryptid cast series, where I discuss cryptids, their sightings, their possibilities, and if they could be real or not. And today on episode 28, I've got a real treat for you. It's a cryptid that's fascinating, ironically, because there's not so much information associated with it. That is, there's enough information to clearly show that it's sentient, it's living, and that it very well could be there, but at the same time it all stops short just of meaning. But at the same time there's enough tantalising tidbits to show what it might be, multiple what it might be. And today we have the Mbielu-Mbielu-Mbielu, a cryptid reported from the Republic of the Congo, specifically from the Likwala River. It's described as a river-dwelling creature, obviously, and some people think it might be a living stegosaur. That is, that it might be a large, herbivorous dinosaur with plank-like projections coming out of its back and a long spiky tail for defense against predators that existed over 65 million years ago. It flushed blood into its planks allegedly to disorient enemies, it would swing the heavy tail and could kill them. But why do they think this? Well, a handful of sightings have been reported, and at a superficial glance it does resemble this indeed. When famed cryptozoologist Roy McCall was in the area, a woman not only told him about this Mbielu-Mbielu-Mbielu, the animal with planks growing out of its back, but identified it as a stegosaurus from his books. It had, allegedly, as it slinked through some water, a lizard-like body with multiple plank-like growths protruding from it, which were, interestingly enough, covered in algae, which strongly suggests that the being is aquatic, as does the fact that it was moving through the river. In addition, other locals had claimed to see the creature, which they backed up, and as McCall noted, there are African cave paintings that exist, which do depict elephant-like animals with stegosaurus plate-like backs, and there aren't that many creatures that we know of like the stegosaurus, so to many people, it could well be it. It's lizard-like, and dinosaurs were saurians. It has the plates on its back. It's said to be herbivorous. However, is it really a stegosaurus? Not only because we haven't been able to actually see the body, but because it's only been seen slinking through water. No legs have been seen, so we don't know if it's snake-like or not, and crucially, no spiky tail has been seen. And plus, its aquatic behaviour actually presents a problem for us identifying it with a stegosaur. Because although they probably fed on plants near rivers, there's absolutely no evidence that they were amphibious at all. And if they were that heavy, the evidence in fact suggests that they weren't. The testimony is purely based on that woman's simple testimony and on the planks. Noted that I said before that it was not seen with the club on the tail. There was at least one stegosaur relative, the Kentrosaurus, that was found in tropical Africa, but there's no suggestion whatsoever from fossils that the Stegosaurus ever inhabited any region of Africa in various of its forms, or that it was amphibious. However, there is an argument that over 65 or so million years, it could have evolved, and it could have become aquatic in order to survive. In fact, Roy McCall himself doesn't think it is a Stegosaurus. He favours the identification of the Mbielu-Mbielu-Mbielu as a giant monitor lizard, as an especially large Congolese species of lizard. And Dale Drinan has actually theorised that it could be a kind of giant crocodile with a serrated back. And the Mahamba has been seen in this area. The Mahamba is a crocodile that is allegedly 100 feet long, and from the air, a crocodile was once seen that was 45 feet long. And the photograph does indeed appear to be authentic. So it could very well be that. It could very well overlap with crocodiles. But this is where it gets fascinating. It could also overlap with other cryptids. It's been suggested that the Mbielu-Mbielu-Mbielu, whatever it may be the same creature as the Nguma monene, which was a huge snake seen in the swamps. According to some descriptions, it's at least 130 feet long and has a serrated dorsal ridge along its body, which has lots of triangular protrusions, much like plates. Has 4 legs, can walk on land, has a forked tongue, and looks snake-like. So it could actually be that this one woman, who is ignorant of the other cryptid, has actually misidentified a cryptid. And in addition, that cryptid could also have been misidentified because the Muhuru has been reported from the swamps of South Sudan. It's a cryptid that it's about 9 feet long, has plates on its back, and has an armoured club-like tail. So note that it doesn't have spikes like a Stegosaurus, it has a club-like tail like an Ankylosaurus, which was similar and wielded its tail in the same way. So could people be mistaking a Mbielu-Mbielu-Mbielu for something else, and then in turn mistaking it for something else? Could the Mbielu-Mbielu-Mbielu be mistaken for a Stegosaurus but actually be an Ankylosaurus? It is possible. It's also possible, even more interestingly enough, that it could be an especially large species of Nile Bashir. Remember that I've said before that huge snakes, which could well exist, have been reported from the Congo, one caught on camera. The Mahamba's been reported, 100-foot-long crocodile. Lots of overlarge beings are reported in this area, and it could very well be an overly enlarged fish. So what is the Nile Bashir? It's a species of fish that has a row of plank-like fins on its back, which, if it came to the surface and it were oversized and huge, could look like planks protruding from the water. In addition, it actually lives in several tributaries of Africa, as well as living in the Nile, so it could very well have moved there. And it's dark grey on top, and it has dark vertical markings, bands on the back. It looks very much like a lizard. If you look at the pictures, it looks very much like a lizard. So this is one of those fascinating cryptids that has very little information available about it, an enigma, as Roy McCall has called it, but at the same time there's just enough clues that you could speculate either way. Stegosaurus, Ankylosaurus, misidentified snake, misidentified fish. It's amazing how folklore and traditions are passed down and how they can sometimes become embellished. But what do you guys think? Have any of you ever seen this cryptid? Do you know anyone who does? Have you had any sightings passed down to you? Please leave those in the comments below and leave any suggestions you have for a video you'd like me to do, and I will see you for episode 29.